It's 4:30 on WKYT this morning. An American symbol proudly displayed in a Lexington neighborhood vandalized. We'll have the details on that just ahead.
It was supposed to be Mike Pence's night at the convention, but another speaker stole the show. We'll tell you who.
And the state capitol and the governor's mansion have been lit up in blue. The reason why. Ahead on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. Welcome in. It's your Thursday, and we're glad you're with us on WKYT. I'm Bill Bryant.
I'm Rebecca Smith. Let's check out what the weather's going to be like on this day before Friday.
Let's guess. Hot.
Yeah, hot. That's exactly right. And that's what we're focusing in on the rest of the work week. Is that typical summertime pattern where you have very steamy conditions. It is above average with your temperatures, and that's what we're focusing in on. Because if we just focus in on storms, well, it would be every single day, because this is a summertime setup where you have a pop-up thunderstorm or two toward the afternoon. Most will stay dry. 60s and 70s there in the forecast. We're at 92 by the afternoon. Very steamy day in store. And believe it or not, that is not even the hottest temperature I have in my 7-day. I'm going to talk all about that and show you that in just a few minutes.
See you in just a bit, and we thank you. A source of pride in a Lexington neighborhood has become the target of vandals.
Police say the vandals damaged an American flag and its flagpole in the Blackford Oaks neighborhood off Manowar. Repairs will cost thousands of dollars. Sabira Rayford talked with some people in the neighborhood.
It's like they targeted this little area. Why? I haven't the slightest idea.
Lexington police say Tuesday morning they got a call that someone had desecrated the American flag in the Blackford Oak neighborhood, and this isn't the first time.
Sure enough, that happened. I thought, who would do such a thing?
Neighbors in the area say they were surprised to hear that the flag had been vandalized again. They say for the most part this is usually a pretty safe neighborhood.
To me, this was outside of heaven. This was, the first stop, and we liked it very much, and we still like it. But now, now that you mentioned this incident, I would say we're both now going to be a little uneasy.
Jesus Garcia says he's only lived in the neighborhood for 1 year. After the neighborhood's flag display was vandalized on Memorial Day, Garcia says he thought it was an isolated incident, especially since the neighborhood added extra security features to the pole. He lives near the flag, and the news of its recent vandalization has him on edge.
It's not going to make me move, but it just is going to make me second thoughts about how I interact with people.
In Lexington, Sabira Rayford, WKYT.
Well, Lexington police have not made any arrests for the vandalism, but they do say they will be increasing patrols around that neighborhood. It was Mike Pence's night at the Republican National Convention. He told the crowd why the Trump ticket should take the White House in November.
But another speaker got a big reaction from some in the crowd, and Craig Boswell has the highlights from the convention floor last night.
Indiana Governor Mike Pence accepted the Republican nomination for Vice President of the United States.
Now, we'll win because we're running on the issues facing this country and because we're leveling with the American people about the stakes and the choice.
Pence laid out why he believes Trump is the right person to lead the country.
You have nominated a man for president who never quits, who never backs down, a fighter, a winner.
After Pence spoke, Trump made his third appearance at the convention. Former rival Ted Cruz only mentioned Trump once and urged Republicans to vote for candidates they trust.
Stand and speak and vote your conscience.
Cruz was booed when he did not endorse Trump despite demands from the crowd. The goal here is to unite the Republican Party behind its nominee and give him some momentum. The family affair continued with Trump's son, Eric, who talked up his father.
He has defied the predictions of every single political pundit and turned traditional debates into must-see TV.
Trump's daughter, Ivanka, will take the stage tomorrow night before her father's big moment when he accepts the Republican nomination for president. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Cleveland.
And Kentucky State Senator Ralph Alvarado of Winchester was among the last speakers last night at the convention. He talked about his parents immigrating to the U.S. to provide a better life for their family.
Everything I am, everything I've achieved, I owe to God and my parents. My father was a proud legal immigrant from Costa Rica, my mother from Argentina. And being the son of immigrants, I saw firsthand their sacrifice to provide our family a better life.
Senator Alvarado spoke in Spanish during part of his speech, asking Latinos to vote for Republicans and for Donald Trump this coming November. 3 men now facing charges for their alleged actions at a Donald Trump rally in Louisville earlier this year. Police say video shows them shoving a protester at the rally. They say Matthew Heimbach, Alvin Bamberger, and Joseph Pryor have been charged with harassment, which is a misdemeanor. Investigators say Heimbach is a leader in a white supremacist group, and the victim, Shaya Nwanguma, says she was protesting peacefully at a rally in March when the men pushed her. She says they also called her racist and sexist slurs. She has also filed a lawsuit against the 3 men.
Police have charged a woman who they say stole more than $1 million from a Jessamine County business. As they say, 65-year-old Joyce Minton was a bookkeeper for Clark Tool & Die. Police say she embezzled the money over an 11-year period. They say managers of the business trusted Minton and even saw her as a close family friend.
The office manager was in charge of keeping the books. The office manager was in charge of writing the checks. And that's why, what we found is that she was able to hide it for so long.
Police charged Minton with theft. They also charged her son, Aaron Warren, who worked for Clark Tool & Die as well. Police say he used company money to buy an engine for a race car.
There are some new developments in the investigation of a missing Nelson County mother. Crystal Rogers has not been seen since last July. Police say her boyfriend, Brooks Houck, is a suspect, but so far he has not been charged. Yesterday, Houck's grandmother, Anna Whitesides, agreed to answer questions prepared by prosecutors at a later date. Prosecutors say those questions will center around a white Buick she once owned. Investigators think the car may have been used to get rid of Rogers' body. Rogers' family hopes that they are getting closer to some answers in the case.
I don't feel like I got anywhere today, honestly. I mean, I want more. I just want more. I want her to answer them questions today. Not a month from now, 2 months from now. I want it today.
Rogers' family says they are frustrated that the answers that Whitesides gives will be private and all documents will be sealed. Earlier this week, we told you about a sudden spike in heroin overdose deaths in Boyle County. The coroner there said 5 people have died in the last few weeks.
Last night, some folks in the community gathered for a meeting designed to address this big problem. Among those there were people whose lives, I should say, have been affected by the drug epidemic. Monique Blair has the story.
We have a serial killer on the loose.
They were powerful words, but the message behind them was intended to be powerful.
We got to get it out to the people that are currently addicted, that there is something, it is cut with something, and from my research about what's been going on, I think it's probably a substance called carfentanil. Carfentanil is a fentanyl-related opiate. It's a synthetic opiate. It is actually used to sedate elephants.
As a way to bring awareness to this drug epidemic, many people who have been affected by addiction shared their stories.
It's hard to lose a child.
And I do not want to have to worry about my boys picking up syringes in their local parks.
I always told my son, I said, don't never follow the group. Don't do what a group tell you. But he did. And so my son's an addict.
So now the big question is, what can you do to help? For the more than 100 people who came together tonight in Danville, the first step was coming together. But there is so much more that can be done.
Dr. Eric Grant says drug and addiction experts need to get into the schools and educate kids, and communities need to be vigilant.
And we need to run these drug dealers out of this county, out of this region. They need to know if they come to Danville, they're going to jail.
The meeting ended with a group promise that they would continue to fight this epidemic until it's over.
There are those that are affected by the disease, and there are those that haven't. And so it would require all of our voices.
In Danville, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Well, the group that organized this meeting is called FIGHT, which stands for Families into Getting Help Together. They will meet again on August 8th. State police arrested a man they say menaced one of their troopers. They say Jeffrey Duncan's car pulled up behind an off-duty trooper's car in Lawrenceburg, then started to follow him. Police say Duncan tailgated the car, even flashed his high beams for a couple of miles. When the trooper stopped at a Walmart, they say Duncan followed him inside, and the two got into a confrontation. Duncan is now facing multiple charges, including menacing, resisting arrest, and disorderly conduct.
The time is 4:40 on WKYT. A special salute in Frankfort for police officers in Kentucky and around the country. Both the state capitol and the governor's mansion were lit up in blue last night. In a Facebook post, Governor Matt Bevin said it was in honor of the thin blue line. Kentucky State Police replied with their thanks on Facebook. The governor says the two buildings will be lit up in blue again tonight. And WKYT This Morning is just getting started. It's good to have you with us. We have a lot more to tell you about on your Thursday.
One of those kids love them, but glow sticks should be used with caution. We will tell you why coming back when we come back.
We're upper 60s, lower 70s this morning. We get into your afternoon, a hot day in store. We're talking about 90s for virtually everybody. How deep into the 90s, and do we see a pop-up thunderstorm or two? We'll get into that forecast coming up next.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
We're looking pretty good this morning with nothing going on as you walk out the door, so there's some good news for us. The bad news is it starts to heat up very rapidly. What we see across the region, we're still under some pretty warm conditions. I mean, we reached 91 degrees yesterday, reached 90 degrees the day before. We're going to be right there around 92 today, and the setup is this. There's your low pressure system, and this is a big low pressure system that causes them some problems up toward the upper Midwest. So here's the deal with this. It's pulling in some really warm conditions. Very hot across Mississippi Valley region. This is actually much hotter than where we are. They're actually heat index 110. Some locations 115. I mean, yeah, they're under extreme heat warnings. And for us, we actually do have a heat advisory for some portions back towards 65. But what we're going to be seeing is that warm air slowly but surely glide into our portion of the United States. So we're going to be watching that in the next few days as these temperatures just continue to rise. Upper 60s, lower 70s. And that's the focus of the forecast, the temperatures. Because here's the deal. If we focus just on thunderstorms, most of us will actually not even see thunderstorms. We'll get one or two outside. They'll pass on through. If you're under one of those, you're very lucky because it's going to be 92 degrees by the afternoon. So most of us stay dry, virtually all of us. Can't rule out a pop-up thunderstorm or two. And then as we get off towards your Friday, it's pretty much the same story. Then we hit Saturday and Sunday. A few storms will be around in the forecast as it remains hot and humid. Here's your 7-day forecast and what you can expect. No real change anytime soon. Today and tomorrow, pretty much the same as the past couple of days. And then we hit Saturday and Sunday, and that's when a few more storms roll into the region. Temperatures will be there in the upper 80s, lower 90s. And if you do not get hit by rain this weekend, Friday, or really today through Saturday, I would say, that's when we start to see those heat index values get up to triple digits. So that's really something to watch out for. That's when it becomes a little dangerous outside. Yeah. Stay outside too long.
Temperatures kind of get away from you if we don't have some rain.
There you go.
All right, Micah, appreciate it very much. 4:46 now. A warning for parents whose children enjoy glow sticks.
The substances inside them are highly toxic. Today's Mom's Everyday Minute explains how to use glow sticks safely. No doubt you've seen glow sticks, necklaces, and bracelets at holidays, birthday parties, and other celebrations. They're lots of fun and really popular, but that doesn't mean they should be used without caution.
The substance inside, which is usually dibutyl phthalate, isn't highly toxic, but it can cause irritation if your child comes in contact with it. So if one of those glow sticks breaks, it's best to throw it out and wash any areas of the skin that may have come in contact with it. Here are some recommendations from poison control centers. If a child ingests some of the liquid, be aware that their lips and tongue could temporarily glow. Wipe the mouth with a wet washcloth, going over the tongue and gums, and give the child half a cup of water. If the liquid gets in your child's eyes, rinse them out with room temperature water for 10 minutes. And if it gets on their skin, wash with soap and water. If irritation lasts more than 10 minutes, call Poison Control at 1-800-222-1222.
For more ways to make Mom's life easier, visit momseveryday.com. For Moms Every Day, I'm Liz Hayes. For these tips and more, go to WKYT.com, click on Moms Every Day.
And of course, right there, you'll find the latest news, the updated weather forecast, and a lot more. And it's good to have you with us on WKYT this morning.
Some trouble for customers of Southwest Airlines. More on the widespread computer outage that caused issues when we come back.
Welcome back. It's 4:50 on WKYT this morning. Good to have you with us on this Thursday. Sort of can see the weekend coming now. A widespread computer outage has caused some big headaches for people traveling with Southwest Airlines.
Southwest had to cancel about 20 flights and delay more than 200 because of yesterday's outage. For about 3 hours, travelers could not buy tickets, check in for flights, or check a flight status on the airline's website. Last night, Southwest said they were trying to still get their computer system back up and running, and they're working with passengers. Police have arrested a man they say led them on a chase with 5 children in his car. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office says they tried to pull over 23-year-old Brandon Fouch last night on Ravenswood Circle, but they say he wouldn't stop and led them on a chase. At one point, police say speeds reached 60 miles an hour in the neighborhood. They say Fouch finally stopped. Police say his wife, his 5-month-old child, and 4 other children were in the car with him. Fouch faces multiple charges, including wanton endangerment.
Well, Pokemon fans say they've got to catch them all, and their quest took them inside Commonwealth Stadium yesterday. UK opened the stadium for a few hours yesterday afternoon so Pokemon Go players could hunt for Pokemon, or Pokemon. Officer Don flew over the stadium in Sky First. Garrett Weimer talked to some of the people who showed up.
Before the gates even opened,
well, it's got all the different Pokemon.
The Poke players were ready.
Obviously, we've got a big Pokemon fan here. I can't lie, I'm a little bit excited too.
At the stroke of 4:30,
who has the Pokemon theme song?
They wasted no time getting inside and getting to work.
It's moving? There you go. Thanks. Did you guys get in?
Problem was, for a lot of people,
no, servers are down.
The game's server problems meant they couldn't get the app to load, a common issue with the game since it launched.
Scale of 1 to 10, I'd say 10. Makes me mad.
But once it started working, there were Pokemon all over the field here at Commonwealth Stadium. A lot of different people had a lot of things they like about the game.
My favorite part personally is like when you get to throw the Pokeballs at them.
Like seeing all the different gyms and Pokestops around. And like you see like a bunch of people at the different Pokestops and everything.
Jack, who's your favorite Pokemon?
Pikachu.
For the nearly 1,400 who came out to Commonwealth Stadium,
I'm actually happy to be on the field. I don't even care about Pokemon now.
It was about more than trying to catch them all.
Just enjoy being on the field. That's all I got to say right there.
In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Okay, in Louisville, the Kentucky Derby Museum and Churchill Downs are offering a Pokemon Go tour. On Friday and Sunday, you can get access to stops around the track that are normally off limits to the public this time of year. The cost for that is $15 per person.
I like how you're trying to keep it grammatically correct with Pokemon.
Well, I don't know. I mean, one of the guys said that too.
I appreciate that.
I don't know. It's an interesting thing. A lot of folks enjoy it, obviously. Getting some exercise, too. 4:53 on WKYT this morning. In just a moment, we'll have some of the stories our news team is working on for you this morning.
We'll also have another look at your morning forecast.
Welcome back into WKYT this morning. It's 4:57 now, bright and early, dark and early, let's be honest, right?
Let's be real with the
On your
people,
Thursday.
right?
Yeah,
you'll probably see it if you look outside. It's time right now to take a look at some of the stories we're working on for you this morning.
The Republican National Convention had another eventful night with Senator Ted Cruz being booed off the stage and a Kentucky state senator also taking the stage. We'll have more on the convention coming up in our next half hour.
And we'll have more right now on weather with Micah.
Yeah, we're looking pretty good outside early this morning. We're there at 69 degrees in Lexington, 70 degrees there in Richmond, and it's not a bad start to the day, but I will tell you this. We get into your afternoon, it's going to be very, very hot. We're talking 92 degrees, a very steamy day. That's about 6 degrees above average, so we're getting hotter and hotter as the days move along. And not only that, but throw in that humidity. That's the key during the summertime, and we're going to talk about that. I'm going to show you if you do see any storms in the near future coming up.